Coolpad has launched a new device under 7,000 rupees, which mainly focuses on bigger screen, better cameras. So is that sufficient? Let's find out. Hi there guys, this is Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is a complete review of Coolpad Mega. Let me just give you a little background of what my thoughts were before I started using this device. Like any one of you who wants to buy a new phone, or as for me, who want to buy a phone to review it for you guys out there, I was having pretty low expectations for the Coolpad Mega. It had just a quad-core processor clocked at 1 GHz, which I'm not able to digest even now. I was literally pissed at Coolpad for offering such a mediocre processor, and besides that, I didn't have any other phone as my primary phone, so I had to use this for a week. As I know its capabilities, I used it as a very basic user. The only battery consuming app on my phone was probably WhatsApp. Yes, no Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, only WhatsApp. Now let's come back to the review itself. No matter how hard I try or want to try, there are no real flaws to the design of this phone. It's super sleek and very lightweight. When you look at the phone of this size, you think it might be slightly on the heavy side, but it's surprisingly light at 144 grams. Buttons have a nice tactile feel to them too. We have a 2.5D curved glass on the front, which seems to be having oleophobic coating, and it's very smooth. We have a slightly curved back with a small camera bump, so when you use it on a flat surface, you know what happens. On the front we have the 5.5-inch HD display with 233 ppi. Display is the most highlighting feature of this phone, and though it's a HD resolution, you won't notice any pixels. I'm not complaining or anything, but we don't have any option to change the display color temperature or the color saturations. By the way, we have a lot of screen gestures, which works without any issue. As we don't have a fingerprint scanner on this device, double tap to wake comes in handy to wake up the device very quickly. Like other Coolpad devices in the past, even Coolpad Mega comes with bad haptic feedback. I just don't know why Coolpad can't give us a better haptic feedback. Anyway, it's just so annoying that I want to bang the phone to the table. I completely disabled haptic feedback for everything, but still there are times when it comes up and I just can't remove it. Using other phones in the same price segment like the Redmi 3S, I am really annoyed with the black borders or the bezels around the screen. Most of you might not find it annoying, but for some reason, I don't seem to get past it. For a phone whose selling point is that bigger display, there truly isn't anything to complain about it. It's vibrant, sharp, and the viewing angles are pretty good. Another big selling point of the phone is its cameras. For some odd reason, Coolpad went with a similar spec'd 8-megapixel cameras on the front and the rear with a single LED flash. Rear camera doesn't seem to be all that impressive, but the front-facing camera is very good for selfies. We get wide-angle pictures. It overexposes the shot but makes you look fair. There are good enough modes like panorama, GIF, sound shot, night and beauty modes, and some filters to make your hands dirty. Probably due to the lack of processing power, we cannot record Full HD videos on either of the cameras. So you have to stick with just a 720p video on both the cameras. End results, it's great for selfies, rear camera is okay, and a big no for video recording. Under the hood, it sports a quad-core MediaTek processor clocked at 1 GHz, 16GB internal storage and 3GB RAM. And these are the benchmark scores. Seeing the scores, I was seriously mad at Coolpad. How on earth can Coolpad give us an underpowered phone when compared to a 6-month-old Coolpad Note 3 Lite? These are the benchmark scores for comparison. Unlike Coolpad Note 3 Lite, we don't have a dedicated SD card slot. We have a hybrid SIM slot, so we can use either two SIMs or a SIM card and an SD card. Considering the benchmark scores, all the time I used the device, I was thinking the same thing. How can someone manage to use this phone with such low performance? But to my surprise, phone was very responsive, at least more than what I expected. Most of the time it's very fluid and smooth. Sometimes when we open the recent apps page or try to switch between applications quickly, or when we open an app for the first time, it shows its true color. But once it opens and it's in the memory, it opens it quickly and you won't notice any lag. I tried to play the Asphalt 8 even at the lowest settings. Phone gets heated up and there was some lag in the gameplay. With that said, it should be good enough for smaller games like Temple Run and Subway Surfers. Though the CPU is a disappointing factor, Coolpad makes it up with better software optimization and the 3GB of RAM. Coolpad runs on a heavily skinned version of Android called CoolUI 8 on top of Android Marshmallow 6.0. As any skinned UI, you won't find any traces of material design, everything is changed. Some are good and most of it is a bad design choice. I don't know why, but in CoolUI 8, Coolpad chose to mimic the iOS by putting the notification toggles and some quick shortcuts at the bottom. I'm not going to judge them on their design choice, but it is seriously causing us problems. First, we need to get used to the new design. Second, we accidentally press the navigation buttons. And most importantly, while watching videos on YouTube in landscape mode, the bottom bar is not responding correctly. It makes for a bad experience. And that's the main issue I have. If we ignore that, we have all the basic level of customization. It comes with app permission, themes, and minor UI tweaks. We are still missing the best feature of Marshmallow. Now on tap. We don't know when we will be getting it or if we will actually get it or not. The most handy feature in this phone will be the long standby mode. We can find it in the notification toggles. It makes your phone a dumb phone by stopping all the services running in the background and extends your battery life greatly. In this mode, even 5% of battery can last you 4 to 5 hours, and considering the smaller battery size, this feature does come in handy. I made a separate video on all the features of Coolpad Mega. Check that out to know more about the software features. Audio is one another area where Coolpad shouldn't have cut down. For a device with entertainment as a primary selling point, it lacks in speaker loudness. It's enough for a small silent room, but most of the time, it's not enough. We can't even hear ringtones properly from a different room, so that's a very big problem. Audio quality from headset is nothing more than standard. And finally, we arrived at the battery section. To keep the phone light and slim, they gave us a 2500 mAh battery. I was using this phone just for the basic stuff like calls, messages, mail, YouTube and WhatsApp, no Facebook or any other social networking apps. I know it can't handle too much processing, so used it like a very basic user, and for that I got a screen on time from 3 to 4 hours, which I think is pretty good considering the screen size and the smaller battery. Doze feature from Android M works flawlessly in reducing the battery drain while in sleep. For a basic user, it can definitely survive a day. Even though I used it with a lot of disappointment, it managed to survive and make an impression. One thing's for sure, it proved a point. Even with bad hardware, with the right software, we can still survive. Well, here are some facts. Is it good enough? Yes, but it's barely good enough. Should you buy it? Yes, only if you know what you're doing 100%. And if you have even the slightest bit of doubt, then don't buy it. This phone doesn't have what it takes to survive smoothly for more than a year. If you want my suggestion, skip it. If you really want a bigger display, spend some money and get a bigger phone like Coolpad Note 3 or the Redmi Note 3, which have bigger screens and better processing power. Yes, this phone works perfectly, but how long? And are you really willing to go for such an underpowered phone just for the sake of bigger display? At least I wouldn't. So what about you? Are you still willing to go with this device? Do let me know by commenting below this video. And if you found this video to be helpful, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, do subscribe. And this is Nikhil from GreedyTech once again, signing off. I'll catch up with you in my next video. Until then, have a nice day.